Sweet June 2010. Coming back at you with another interesting video. How's everybody doing? I want to talk about, I'll be looking at the different YouTube videos and everything. And I've looked at a lot of comments coming from black men that black men that hate black women. And I notice how, when I look at the bashing videos, I notice how black men love to, I notice a common theme a lot of times. I notice how they love to throw out statistics based on their emotion. They just throw a stat out there based on their emotions. And I talked about it in one of my other videos. It's like, how are you going to throw a statistic out there based on your emotions? Like, I was reading this one comment from this guy, and this guy said, excuse me, I'm sorry, I was reading a comment from this one guy, and this one guy said 95% of black women like thugs. And I was like, so I replied to him, and I said, "Oh, that's interesting." I said, show me the link." I said, "Show me the link." I said, "I'd like to check that out." I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Where'd you get that stat at?" I said, "Show me the link. I'd like to check it out." And I'm like, okay, I'm like, how do you just throw a statistic out there based on your emotions? Now, he know doggone well that 95% of black women don't like thugs. I'm one of the black women that don't like thugs. I never liked thugs. So I'm thinking, okay, but where did he compile the stat? Where did he get the stat from? How does he know this? How does he know that 95% of black women like thugs? He doesn't know it. There's no way you can compile a stat like that. The fact is that he just threw the stat out there based on his emotions, because he thinks that 95% of black women like thugs, but that's not true. So I asked him, I said, "Oh, that's interesting. Show me the link. I'd like to check it out." See, I like to combat ignorance with logic. See, when I get some ignorance thrown at me, I like to combat it with logic. And I was like, "Oh, show me the link." Really? That's an interesting stat. Where'd you find that out? Show me the link. I'd like to check it out. See, he couldn't show me the link. He couldn't produce a link because there is no statistic out there that says 95% of black women like thugs. There is no statistic. There's no such statistic. How are you going to compile a stat like that? You'd have to survey every black woman in America and ask them what kind of men they like. Okay? Pretty much. That's how you're going to compile that statistic. Okay? You'd have to take a survey of every black woman in America to get the numbers on something like that. Okay? That requires a lot of work. So, that's ignorant. It shows a course of ignorance when you throw a statistic out there based on your emotions. And I know there's a lot of black men on YouTube that are doing that. They're throwing statistics out there based on their emotions, and it doesn't make any sense. Well, 90% of black women are ratchet. Where are you getting that statistic at? How do you know that? I'd like to know how you know that. I'd like to know where you're getting that statistic. How did you compile that stat? See, they can't answer you. They can't give you a link, and they can't answer you because there is no such statistic. You threw that statistic out there based on your own emotions. You can't throw a statistic out there based on your own emotions. That statistic is based on your emotions. It's what you think in your heart that 90% of or 95% of black women are ratchet or like thugs or whatever. But that statistic is not true. See, The brain is a very powerful thing, and you can convince yourself of just about anything. You know, the mind is very powerful, and we can convince ourselves of just about anything. You know, you can convince yourself of just about anything, but that doesn't make it true. Just because you tell yourself in your own mind that it's true doesn't make it a fact. What happens is when you come on YouTube and you throw these phony stats out there, it just makes you sound ignorant, and it just makes you sound stupid. Because any logical person knows that that stat is not based on any factual information. And it just makes you sound ignorant, and it makes you sound stupid. And it makes you sound bitter. When you throw phony stats out there based on your emotions, it makes you sound bitter. Yep, that's what it does. And it makes you sound ignorant and stupid. So, do yourself a favor. Don't throw out the fake stats, because you're making yourself sound ignorant. And I notice a lot of black men on YouTube that are doing that. They're just throwing fake stats out there based on their emotions. That doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, if you can't get concrete stats, check legitimate sites and do your research and do your homework and get legitimate stats, and then quote those stats. If you don't have enough sense, enough logic and common sense to do that, then I don't know what to say about you. But you can't just throw a stat out there based on your emotion. And you know, if you're gonna talk about black women, and if you're gonna bash black women, at least show some common sense. At least do it with some type of logic. At least do it with some type of intelligence, and do it with some type of logic, and get some legitimate stats. Okay? If you're gonna bash black women, get the legitimate stats. Do your homework. But don't just throw stats out there off the top of your head based on your emotions. You know? Because not only are you a bitter black man bashing black women, that's bad enough. But on top of that, you make yourself sound ignorant and stupid. So it doesn't look good in your favor. Okay, so if you're gonna do yourself a favor, if you're gonna bash black women, do it with some logic. Okay, do it with some logic. At least make yourself sound halfway intelligent. Okay, coming back with some other interesting video topics. This is Sweet June 2010.